Hello guys, good morning. So in this demo guys, we will demonstrate Visual Studio 2010, I mean 2000, uh, Visual Studio 2022, and we will use C Sharp 10 and .NET 6 framework. So we will create a console application in .NET 6. So we create a project and then we have to choose the console application here. And this is C Sharp, okay, that's C Sharp 6, and then we'll create. Okay. So we are going to create a multiplication table. So we will just name it as multiplication table demo. So this is .NET 6. Okay, we will click next. And as you can see, it's .NET 6. Alright, so when we create that, you can see the difference in .NET 6 or Visual Studio 2022 from the Visual Studio 2019. Okay. Uh, as you can see here, there is no explicit main method that we usually have when we have Visual Studio 2019, that our program that says there will be a static main void main method with the starting point of your program. But in .NET 6, that is the starting point is just the program that says. So this one is the template. We'll just delete this. And if we try to run this one, this will say hello world. So that is your console application in .NET framework. You have no main method that you usually do or we have in the other version of .NET framework. So now this is the starting point. So we have to start here. For example, we will create a multiplication table. So uh, multiplication table. Okay, so console data time. The next one we will just have for loops. So we will use I. This is just a demonstration how you create a console application using .NET 6 framework, and also is using already C Sharp 10. So there are lots of new feature in C Sharp 10. So also .NET 6 or C Sharp 10 has a full intelligent support. So you don't need to have the reshuffle. Okay. So for example, if I just type 4, then uh, 4, then you tab, so it will create you. And this I will just have to lesser than equals to 10. So oh my god, I will just start with 1 integer I equals 1. Let's start with 0. So it will be a multiplication table of 10. So uh, so I is lesser than or equal to, let's say, 10. Then I plus plus, I like that. And then we have to have the inner for loops. So let's say this is x, and let's start also say it's the intelligent change the variable x, and let's start with 1, and this is also 10, and of course, oh, lesser than or equals 10 and x plus plus, right? So you have the outer for loops 1 to 10, and you have the inner for loops 1 starting to 1 to 10. Then from here, we just have to say console, right? Okay. Right? So we will not have a next line, just right. And then what we are going to do is to multiply the value of I times the value of x, because we are going to have a multiplication table. So if the I is 1, multiply with the x, this is 1, that is 1 times 1 equals 1. If the I is still 1 and the x already 2, because that's inner for loop. So 1 times 2 is 2. So that is in line. So if it is done and the inner for loop is stretched already 10, we just have to go to the outer for loops and the I will become 2. But this one, we just have to plus a tab. So you can see there's a tabbing. So To add a tab is just slash t, right? And then before it ends, we just have to add console, uh, right? New line. So new line is slash with n, right? Eh. So let's say if we have our multiplication table in that matrix. Oh, see guys, that is a multiplication table and it is written in our console. So as you can see, this is the inner for the first slope 1 and the value of x is 1. So 1 times 1 is 1. The value of x is 2, 1 times 2 is 2. The value of x is 3, 1 times, because the outer for loop will have one first value until the inner for loop will finish. So the inner for loop is 1 to 10. Now, if the outer for loop becomes 2, the value of the value of your x now is I now is 2, and then you go to inner for loops, which is 1. So 1 times 2 is 2, then 2 times 2 is 4, then 3 times 2 is 6, like that until it's 3 to 10. So that's the simple multiplication table, guys. So basically, you just have to have your outer for loop and inner for loop and multiply it. So this is written is .NET 6, so console application. So there are lots of things that we can do with .NET 6. So what's the new here is that in your previous .NET framework, the Visual Studio, for example, Visual Studio 2019, when you create a console program, the entry point is the static main with void main args like that. But this one, there's nothing. So it's just basically the program that says, and you can fire up your application already. That's the starting point. Okay, guys. So that is how we start or create .NET 6 console application using C Sharp 10, and of course we are using Visual Studio 2022, and in this we just demonstrate how to create a multiplication table. So it's just so easy. Multiplication table, you just have a inner and outer for loop. Okay, thank you for watching, guys, especially to those students. The This will help you learn logic, how to create a multiplication table. Okay, happy learning, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you will be notified for the upcoming tutorials or demo that we have in our certain project. Bye bye, guys.